Hey everybody. Hello internet. Hello internet, we meet again. This is Kyle. This is your bro Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine. It is Wednesday night where I am. It's about 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Star date February 6th, 2019. I'm trying to hold it together. Today I actually and if you're coming into the chat room, welcome. I have a couple of, I'm going to make this kind of a short live stream, just so I can make more of them and stay on topic, stay on point, and it'll make it easier for my brain. And I think it'll be more interesting for you guys too. I listened to Dave Case's CD tonight, so I feel a little bit better today. I was doing this thing where I'd spend like two nights in a row sleeping on my leather chair, and then one night with Dave Case's CD, and I kept doing that. And I noticed that during the day when I was sitting around, like playing video games or whatever, my attackers were really pulsing pain through my jaw. So I'm starting to just every night forcing myself to listen to Dave Case's CD. And it's stopping, that remote neural manipulation pain that my attackers are, stimulating in my nervous system. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's in the chat room yet, but I might. Let's see. Let me open some of my windows and stuff. I don't want to play any music. There is this Danny Goki song. It's a new Danny Goki song that just came out called Have You Seen It Yet? And I kind of wanted to play that, but I'm going to hold off on playing music because I really want to gauge. I want to gauge what YouTube is claiming is non-suitable for videos. So I want to do it without the copyrighted music to see if anything that I'm talking about they're claiming is unsuitable for advertisers. Just kind of to gauge it by myself. But let me check in. Let me open my screen and see if anybody's in the chat room yet. I thought by doing it at like 7 at night because I got some stuff done today. Actually, I got up and I was about to walk the dog, and I filled up like 2 trash bags full of trash, just cleaning out my place. And then I actually, I was going to go put some Christmas money that I got in the bank, which tells you how far behind I am on doing things. But the bank was closed, and then I went shopping. I went grocery shopping and just bought a bunch of fruit. Like I bought a bunch of Del Monte fruit cups and apples and stuff like that. So I'm gonna try and eat more healthy. So I got some good stuff done today. I was productive and I just pushed myself to do it, and it made me feel a lot better. Like it made me, okay, I'm not seeing you guys. Like in my Google Hangouts, I don't see y'all. But hello everybody in chat. Hello Charles. You're not getting notifications? Yeah. Future knowledge. Yeah, because I'm opening my Google. Hey, Carrie and Dave. I open my Google Hangouts and it's not showing how many people are in chat. So something's going on. Yeah. I bet you nobody's getting notifications for this. I'm telling y'all, I know everybody says this, but my YouTube account is just majorly messed with because I started it so long ago, like 6 years ago or whatever. Think about 6 years ago. And my attackers, I think, have had a lot of time to make connections with YouTube, or they've had a long time to kind of run it up the flagpole and get in contact with YouTube to just really mess with me, make sure that they're chopping off subscribers, unsubscribing people and stuff like that. They've really done that to me because I look at my channel and I'm like, and then I meet up with targeted individuals and they're like, man, I watch your videos. They really help me. And I'm like, how many people I'm meeting that watch my channel doesn't coincide with like, what it's saying my subscribers are. But, forget it. We just got to put the information out. We can't worry about all that stuff, And I hope you guys in chat, I hope y'all are doing all right. Yeah, how are you doing, Charles? I gotta go. I gotta catch up on any videos that you've made lately, because I know you get out some really good information. Well, okay, let me go ahead and get started, but I'm not gonna do I'm not gonna play any music right now. Hey, Victorious Bala. Hey, from Ohio. How is it in Ohio? Is it snowing? I was hoping we'd get snow. Charles, I'm doing okay. I guess relatively, I'm doing pretty good. I was able to just get a lot of stuff done today. I started like cleaning up because like my place isn't it's not dirty, but it's messy. Like I put on my grounding stuff, and then I'll be drinking a soda or something, so I don't put it in the trash can. I have kind of some trash that I needed to pick up. Filled 2 trash bags before I went and walked my dog, and put out some trash. That made me feel better. So guys, like if you want to feel a little bit, and I know this is common sense, but try and keep your place clean, and do, if you don't feel like you can be productive, like going out and getting a lot of stuff done, at least clean up your place and do things around your place. It'll make you just feel a little bit better, like you're getting things done, if you're like me. So Charles is asking, have you ever heard of an earth battery, Kyle? No, no, Charles, I haven't. What does it do? Do you have a Hey Badger Report? I watch a lot of your videos. How are you doing, man? Yeah, so Dave says it's been a rough couple of days for me. The V2K is driving me insane. Yes. It gets better, Dave. You can really condition yourself to completely ignore it, because my V2K never stops. It's a 24-hour-a-day conversation between a man and a woman. But today, like, I was sitting there and they're talking or whatever, saying some similar things, like, because they have this protocol, this Chatterbox protocol, which some of it is software that's running. It's like things that they've said, and then it puts it in the software, and then it puts it into a conversation-like mode, and then sometimes it's real time. But I've gotten to a point where I just completely ignore it, and sometimes I'll completely ignore it so much, and this is it's just conditioning. It's just a positive conditioning for yourself. You try and ignore it, try and ignore it, try and ignore it, and you do it for so long that you end up, like, it'll be audible, the V2K will be audible, but literally, I will have to think about it. Oh yeah, I'm getting V2K, and then I'll hear it. But it's like going anyway. So our nervous system in our brain can really adapt to things that we're being attacked by. So I want to give some of you guys with V2K, if you haven't had it for long, it's like hell, but there are things that you can adapt in yourself where it gets a little bit better. Okay, so Blue Diamond, Charles Hall, you can pull energy from the ground. Do you have a link for that, Charles? Do you have a link for that earth battery? Because I'll pull it up. Well, hold on. Okay. So Blue Diamond is asking where they can get Dave Case's CD. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Get Dave Case's CD. That would be, if I could only tell one thing, like if I could only tell one thing to targeted individuals, it would be get Dave Case's CD. So let's see. It's anti. Okay, so I'm pulling it up on the screen, Blue Diamond. So go to this website, https //anti-tinnitusv2k.com, and then just go, read all this stuff. And it has some letters about how it's really helped people. It's really helped me too. Like without this CD, my life would be a whole lot more horrible. And I'm still getting attacked. It doesn't cure it 100% for me. But man, it is such a refuge. Like when you're feeling really bad, when your whole body's pulsing with pain, and you just feel like your attackers have a hook into you. It feels like you listen to this and try and listen to it for long periods of time. It gets that hook out. It gets that that bidirectional stream of energy that's connecting with your brain and your nervous system, it slaps it off. You know, it gets it so they can't, like, the readings that they're getting back from remote neural monitoring are weakened, and the readings, or not the readings, but the energy that they can send to you is also going to be weakened because it's a bidirectional stream. Breaks up the biorelevant feedback loop that your attackers are building with these weapons, with the neuroweapons. So, so you can just get it. I think U.S. shipping and handling, it's like $15. For international shipping, it's $35. And you include your address with your donation to receive a CD. So I guess the minimum is $15. You just have to pay for shipping. You can give a donation if you want to, which I would recommend. I might just give him a donation because he's going to probably come up with something else. But see, in order to be effective, once the CD arrives, please order the proper headphones. You got to get the KOS KTX Pro 1 headphones. So you just order it there. You just go to this, let's see. Yeah, just go to this https postcal.c.usps.com. So go to this website and follow the instructions, Blue Diamond. Get that CD, get you a little cheap CD player, and get rechargeable batteries. Like, I hear a lot of people saying they go through regular batteries. Definitely get rechargeable batteries. You know, get at least 4 of them. Let's see. Hey, Autumn. So, Charles, did you have a link for that? Did I miss it? Hold on, I'm going to go back up. Okay, battery. Okay, here it is. Okay, so Earth battery. Let me read about this since Charles sent this in, because I've never heard of this. So I'm going to share my screen. Can you order them or something like that? I guess we'll have to look that up. Let's see. Okay, Earth battery. An Earth battery is a pair of electrodes made of 2 dissimilar metals, such as iron and copper, which are buried in the soil or immersed in the sea. Earth batteries act as water-activated batteries. Sufficiently far apart, they can tap telluric currents. Earth batteries are sometimes referred to as telluric power sources and telluric generators. Operation use. The simplest Earth batteries consist of conductive plates from different metals of electropotential series buried in the ground so that the soil acts as the electrolyte in a voltaic cell. As such, the device acts as a primary cell. When operated only as electrolytic devices, the devices were not continuously reliable owing to drought condition. These devices were used by early experimenters as energy sources for telegraphy. However, in the process of installing long telegraph wires, engineers discovered that there were electrical potential differences between most pairs of telegraph stations. So let's see. Earth batteries are not to be confused with soil-based microbial fuel cells, which rely on electrogenic microorganisms present in soil to generate electricity, as opposed to the galvanic reaction of the 2 different metals. So, so I get, let's see, can you buy some from somewhere, or you actually have to build one yourself? I guess, hey, Charles, I'll look into this. I'm going to look into this and see what I'd need to do, because it seems like you'd have to be able to put it into soil. Let's see, let's go back to chat. Did I just must erase that? All right. So go down. Okay, you can build them. Okay, so hey, nobody. Hey, good luck at work, man. more power to you that you can still go to work. I kind of wish that I was still going to work, but I don't think I could handle it, you know, with the V2K and the torture. So, man, Godspeed. I commend you. I commend you for going to work. Okay, Charles. I'm gonna look into it. I'm not good at building stuff. Okay, well that's good. At least, yeah, nobody. That's what I did. I worked for my mom for a while. I'd write grants for St. Jude, and it helped that she knew about this and was willing to work with what was going on in my life. So at least that's nice that at least you're working for your mom. I mean, working for your family. Hey, you too, nobody. We all got to help each other. But that's I hope you're getting through work. I hope that it's making you feel productive and it's not too hard on with all this. Okay, Charles. Well, I'll look into that, Charles. I'm not too good at building things. Like I can figure out things like the grounding straps, but in Dave Case's CD. But and I can build like a little Faraday bunker, but I'm not good at building like mechanical devices and things like that. So maybe we need to get in touch and talk about that. Okay, I'll watch that video. Let me pull it up off of this so I can watch it after my live stream. But everybody check out Earth Batteries. How long is that? Because I can just show it.
You know what would be great right now? If we
Okay, it's playing the little advertisement. Hold on, guys.
Skip buttons. This is embarrassing.
But you switched to that.
Why can't you skip it? Okay, so it shows a homemade Earth battery. I'll go ahead and show this. It's not that long. It's like 4 minutes. So let me share my screen and we'll all check this out. And if it's not too complicated, I wonder if you got to put it outside or something. Okay, so this is the Earth battery. Okay, so it looks like he's got soil and he put the screws in.
Hey there, this is just a quick video to show you how to make one of these Earth batteries. That's everything you need right there. Just the copper wire, galvanized bolts, ice cube tray, and some dirt. Almost 5 volts coming off this thing. 4.75, 4.8.
I'm wondering if you could use it. I guess you're getting electricity out of the earth, basically.
All right, the first thing you want to do is go ahead and add the dirt.
That's kind of cool, but it can't be like used as a defense, right? It's actually getting an electrical charge out of the soil.
Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and strip down the wire. You want to make the pieces about 2.5, maybe even as long as 3 inches long.
Because I was thinking it was something like grounding, but you're actually pulling a current out of the soil, and you can, like a battery, run stuff off of it. That's a cool idea.
Just twist it up.
That's pretty neat.
All right, now just take the 2 pieces, bolt, copper, wrap it around like this.
How do you get a current out of soil?
It's nice and tight like that. It should basically look like that. You attach each cell.
I need to give you a call, Charles, and talk about some ideas, like defensive ideas. Because you know science way better than me. I can like read about stuff and find stuff that really works.
Okay, and there's the finished battery. Here's a single-celled Earth battery right in the Earth.
But it's not used to ground, it's used to power things. Still a neat idea.
I'll show you some of the readings now. Basically getting about 4.5 to 5 volts out of this Earth battery.
That's cool, Charles. I'm going to look into it a little bit more. Let me go ahead and start what I was going to do live stream on, because I didn't want to make it too long. I just wanted to do kind of a short, you know, a short live stream. Like, I didn't want to make it more than like an hour. But I just wanted to do a video because I found it very interesting that Wired magazine, you know, they've done articles on, you know, the Air Force doing research on neuroweapons. They've done articles on directed energy weapons. They've done articles on all this stuff, you know, that the military is working on. And then they turned around and wrote an article about people in society, targeted individuals, saying, hey, you know, our nervous systems and our minds are being affected by something remotely, maybe something inside, you know, an implant or whatever. And they, you know, Wired completely, after many years of reporting on things that the military was working on and researching and developing, like all these technologies, you know, got in touch with, you know, at that conference with targeted individuals who were talking about being researched on, being targeted, being tortured by the same technology. And it's an obvious one-to-one when you see that the Air Force and a lot of the arms of the DoD are, you know, researching and developing this technology. So what does that mean? They have to research and develop it by using it on humans. Then you have a bunch of people in society saying, hey, we're being hit with directed energy weapons. Our brains and our nervous systems are being affected. You know, V2K, pain to the nervous system, headaches, you know, electrical shocks, vibrations in the body. You've got all these military organizations and you know, Lockheed Martin and all these contractors saying, hey, yeah, we're doing research and development, and we really want to know how to overwhelm enemy minds. So that's what they're doing, the research and development to then use it in war and discombobulate an enemy. Or what they say at first is they want to use these electromagnetic frequencies to basically kind of make super soldiers, like make their own soldiers have a heightened sense of perception, more energy and blah, 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 but then they can use it the other way. So I wanted to read these articles and then just look at that article that Wired magazine wrote, kind of defaming us. There were some things in it that were good, but it's very, very, it's very telling. It's very telling how they can report on all the stuff. They can report on all the research and all the developments of these weapons and everything and the advancements of the weapons. But then when it comes to people saying, hey, this stuff's being used on us, they've got to say, oh, well, these people, they think that something's being used, and they don't connect it to any other articles that they wrote about this technology, which the reason why they didn't connect it to the articles that they wrote about the technology is because they're not allowed to, because they can't go there, you know, because it's national security. They can get into a lot of trouble. And, you know, most of these magazines are really they're part of the military-industrial complex. You know, the military-industrial complex and the system decides what people can report on and what they can't report on. Sometimes, you know, I was looking at local news stories like last night and the night before, and they were doing some small reports on gang stalking and targeted individuals. And I think some of it gets out in local news, or some of it did get out in local news, you know, a couple of years back. I think that was like in 2010 to 2013 or whatever, some local news stories. But then you don't see it that much nowadays. You don't see the local news talking about this anymore, because it's like they've kind of clamped down on it. You know, they've had time to clamp down on it and let people know they're not supposed to report on this. So, you know, people say, like, how do they keep something this big? How do they keep it under wraps? Well, they do it in a pyramidal structure, and they mandate all the way down from the top. And sometimes it doesn't work. Like you saw those local news stories coming out and talking about V2K, talking about targeting and stuff like that. It slips through. Sometimes it's not and all the times it's not solidified. Like the propaganda and everything is not solidified as much as the military industrial complex would want it to be, which is our big strength. But as we move forward, year to year, it seems that they're tightening their hold and they're putting more censorship. So we've got to really work now to get as much information out as we can, and hopefully it'll break through that barrier, and then it'll open up. It'll open up more, which it is. It's in the process of people really this starting to be common sense that this stuff is going on. So this is from Kurzweil Accelerated Intelligence Digest. I think it's just an online journal. So the article is November 4th, 2010. So this is 2010. Air Force wants neuroweapons to overwhelm enemy minds. The Air Force Research Laboratory's 711th Human Performance Wing revamped a call for research proposals examining advances in bioscience for airmen performance. It's a 6-year, $49 million effort to deploy extreme neuroscience and biotechnology in the service of warfare. So that's only, the Air Force Research Laboratory 711th Human Performance Wing. The advances in bioscience for airmen performance, that program is like that $49 million effort is only one effort in many going on all over the world, and with all the different countries' military industrial complexes, many different programs deploying neuroscience, researching neuroweapons, researching directed energy weapons. This is just one, and it's $49 million. How many is 6 years? 6 years. One suggested research thrust is to use external stimulant technology to enable the airman to maintain focus on aerospace tasks and to receive and process greater amounts of operationally relevant information. Another asked scientists to look into fusing multiple human sensing modalities to develop the capability for special operations forces to rapidly identify human-borne threats. Now, this is the interesting part of it at the end, and it's just a little blurb in this digest. Conversely, the chemical pathway area could include methods to degrade enemy performance and artificially overwhelm enemy cognitive capabilities. Now, so chemical pathway area, and also with different types of advanced neuroweapons, they want to learn how to degrade enemy performance and artificially overwhelm their enemy's cognitive abilities. Now, they've got to test that. They've got to research that. They've got to, have test subjects to see what can degrade enemy performance, what can overwhelm somebody's cognitive capabilities, what can, torture somebody, what can psychically drive somebody. And then that's what that's why they are torturing us and experimenting on us. One of the many angles of why they're doing this. So that was from Kurzweil Accelerated Intelligence, and then Wired did an article, and it's from Noah Schachtman. It was from let's see, what is that? November 2nd, 2010, and the title is the same. Air Force wants neuroweapons to overwhelm enemy minds. You got that, and you've got this, I guess this military person, this Air Force personnel looking at a bunch of MRIs. Maybe these could be remote brain resonances or brain imaging. But let me go ahead and read this. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna take a swig of my Red Bull, which I bought a Red Bull today. I treated myself. I got a lot done though. Like I cleaned out my place and it made me feel better. Walked my dog. Then I was like sitting around and playing video games, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go shopping and get some fruit, get some, something good to eat. And I really want to start, working out. I think working out, eating healthy, then you add all the defensive stuff, and it can really just it can make the difference. you know, for me, it's like I've got some good defenses, but, you know, my body's kind of weak. You know, it's been tortured for so long and I sit around. And so the muscles are kind of weak around the nerves. So if you can strengthen those muscles around your nervous system, they're trying to put artificial signals through your nervous system. And if the muscles are really strong around the nerves, it's going to be a lot harder for them because your body's going to be a lot more, it's going to be healthier and it's going to be more able to, I don't know the right word, but just to defend itself from artificial things that are being, you know, forced into your body. And the external hits will be, you know, a lot weaker. Your body will be dealing with them a lot better if your muscles are stronger, you know. So I'm really trying to like pick myself up. I've been in a very dark place, just feeling like, wow, this is going on for so long, and I'm just, you know, isolated. I feel like if I, you know, I'm like, I have this feeling like I'm like, if tomorrow the targeting stopped, it would take me a long time to reintroduce myself to a regular life. You know, it would take me a year to reintroduce myself to a regular life. So I'm trying to do some of that stuff, even though I'm being targeted. I think we all work at doing that, you know. When we are feeling good, sometimes it's just like, no, I feel too bad. I'm gonna just try and survive today. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. But yeah, so that one person was asking, Blue Diamond was asking about Dave Case's CD, guys. Just get that. Like, if you're a targeted individual, you may not understand it. You may have just, you know, just realized you're being targeted or something like that, and you don't understand what I'm talking about when I say remote neural manipulation. You might be experiencing pain, and you think that it's all external hits. But trust me, like, if you're getting hit with external microwaves, they are also linked into your mind and your nervous system. They have a bidirectional stream that is sending signals to your brain and your nervous system, which Dave Case's CD slaps that off. It gives them weaker signals back and weaker signals in. So it will make you feel better. Dave Case's CD definitely will make you feel better. So please get it and try it. I just, that's, if, like I said, if there was one thing that I could recommend to target individuals, it would be that. The second thing I would recommend probably would be grounding in a specific type of grounding. First your left leg. There's a lot of stuff I would recommend. And I haven't gone through like what I use to defend, and I haven't been using everything. I haven't been using as many supplements that I started out with, and in cleansing, I haven't been doing a good job with. But I'm gonna be really just going at it. Because I don't have a lot of energy, and my memory is horrific. It's a nightmare. Like, I feel like sometimes I have like almost Alzheimer's. Okay. And listen to this. Listen to the first paragraph. It sounds like something a wild-eyed basement dweller would come up with after he complained about the fit of his tinfoil hat. You know, look at that. Look at what but military bureaucrats really are asking scientists to help them degrade enemy performance by attacking the brain's chemical pathways. Let the conspiracy theories begin. Well, okay, that's a weird starting paragraph when the article that they wrote later on in 2016 actually basically called targeted individuals wild-eyed basement dwelling people who were worried about the fit of their tinfoil hats, when they know that this stuff exists, when they know that the military is doing research and development. It's so dishonest, and it's not only, it's not that the mainstream media is missing something. It's not that they're that stupid, because these people can do research. They do research into stories that are very popular and get the nitty gritty on political things and Donald Trump and what he's doing. They can get the nitty gritty on this. They're not allowed to. They're not allowed to, but it's just so funny, that first paragraph. And not funny, haha, like happy funny. It's funny, like, you know, face to the palm. Face palm. Okay, so late last month, the Air Force Research Laboratory's 711th Human Performance Wing revamped a call for research proposals examining advances in bioscience for airmen performance. It's a 6-year, $49 million effort to deploy extreme neuroscience and biotechnology in the service of warfare. And you can bet your bottom dollar if you see that the Air Force Research Laboratory is working on it, then you're going to have the Navy's working on it too. The Army's going to be working on it. All the different arms of the DoD are going to be working on it. And the DoD, the Pentagon, and the DoD itself are going to be giving out contracts to private, basically, I guess I would call them mercenary groups. Like they really are like they're supposed to be private contractors for the government, but since what was it? Is it Blackwater with the private military going overseas? These private mercenary groups they've taken over because then it's like a private enterprise basically, but they still have all the military clearances they need. It's this kind of loophole that the military is using to kind of go around morality, to go around rules that the military really has to follow. Is it Blackwater? You guys you can put it in chat. I think that's right. But that mercenary group, and that's ever since Blackwater came out, and they were probably doing that before, but these private contractors have just been popping up ever since. And they were before Blackwater. It's not Black Forest, Blackwater. That's it. But before them, you had all these hospitals. Ochsner was a hospital that I went to, and Dr. Ochsner worked with the CIA. So you have many of these hospitals and universities hooked up, with agencies in the government working on projects, working on non-consensual human experimentation projects. And Blackwater was more mercenary, where they'd go over and fight private soldiers and things like that. But you take that idea and you put it on military research, and that's what the contractors who are doing this to us, that's what they are. So they're basically, what does Brian too call them? He calls them like barbarians or intellectual barbarians. So they're basically, scientific mercenaries. That would be a good label for them. One suggested research thrust is to use external stimulant technology to enable. Okay, so this was in the other thing. I should have just read this one. One suggested research thrust is to use external stimulant technology to enable the airman to maintain focus on aerospace tasks and to receive and process greater amounts of operationally relevant information. Something other than modafinil, I guess. Another asked scientists to look into fusing multiple human sensing modalities to develop the capability for special operations forces to rapidly identify human-borne threats. No, this is not a page from The Men Who Stare at Goats. But perhaps the oddest and most disturbing of the program's many suggested directions is the one that notes, conversely, the chemical pathway area could include methods to degrade enemy performance and artificially overwhelm enemy cognitive capabilities. That's right. The Air Force wants a way to fry foes' minds, or at least make them a little dumber. Think about what they've done to all of us. I can just say what they've done to me. They've fried my mind. I can't think I'm really fighting it. So these things that I say, I'm trying not to be so down about them, because I'm fighting your mind has neuroplasticity, and some of these things that feel really bad now, that feel horrible, your mind will adapt to them and it will feel better, and they'll have to go to different protocols, putting in defenses too, and like something like Dave Case's CD or pleasing music or other things like binaural beats, and using basically your willpower and your neuroplasticity and your adaptation to things. So sometimes they've made me feel like so depressed. My attackers will give me this ultra depressed, like dark feeling, And I'm like, okay, this isn't going to be forever. You know, my mind will compensate for this. This isn't like a normal feeling that's just coming from my mind. You know, they're messing with the frequencies of my brain. It actually affects your brain chemically, because your brain you know, your brain works by electromagnetic frequencies. Electromagnetic frequencies affect the chemical function of your brain, and the chemical function of your brain affects electromagnetic frequencies. So when you're producing a lot of serotonin, it's going to affect the electromagnetic frequency that your brain's working on. So if they can affect the electromagnetic frequency that your brain is working on, they can you know, they can mess with your serotonin production levels, your dopamine levels, and things like that. That's why I think when you know, when somebody's first targeted, like first target it very hard, they get very, very paranoid. And that's, well, that is because it's so overwhelming and you don't know how big it is, but it's also because your dopamine levels are being affected too. When you're getting that, you're getting I think of shock and awe, but you know, you're getting shock. Your brain is kind of shocked by how much electromagnetic frequencies are hitting it, and it's affecting your dopamine levels. You know, they're raising up because your body's like, I got to defend myself, and you're producing too much dopamine because of the electromagnetic frequencies hitting your brain. And that's why a lot of, like, I was super, I'm still, you know, I'm still untrusting. But it's not so much paranoia. It's a vigilance. It's a hyper vigilance now. But at the beginning, I was paranoid of everybody. I was like, how, you know, I don't know how big this is. Everybody could be gang stalking. You know, what the hell's going on? And it didn't help that, you know, my dopamine was probably going through the roof, because I'm like, oh, gotta defend myself. So my main point in that is just electromagnetic frequencies to the brain affect the chemical workings of it. And it's also the opposite. Chemical workings of the brain affect electromagnetic frequencies that your brain's putting on. It's the kind, okay, so I'm going to go back to the article now. It's the kind of official statement that's seized on by anyone who is sure that the CIA planted a microchip in his head, or thinks that the Air Force is controlling minds with an antenna array in Alaska. The same could be said, and you see how they make fun of it. They really make fun of it. Oh, let the conspiracy theories begin, and oh, and the CIA planted a microchip in you or something like that. So they got to do. I think that the people who write these articles on such technology that's held so close to the military-industrial complex, they have to be assigned to this, and they have to actually, you know, they probably have to, you know, it has to be words hard. It probably has to be it signed off. That somebody in the military has to sign off on this article going out. You know, I think that they have agents working in, you know, all these magazines and definitely, you know, all these news channels and stuff like that. And you know, if they're going to write about this, it has to be like, hey, can I say national security? Can I talk about this? Can I talk about? And they'll be like, yeah, you can talk about this, but you need to you need to kind of make fun of it and make fun of people who say that maybe this is happening to them, maybe it's being used on them, you know. So it kind of sets a tone, like, hey, this is out there, but obviously the military isn't using it on anybody. Yeah, right. You know, yeah, right. The same could be said about the 711's call to develop technologies to anticipate, find, fix, track, identify, characterize human intent and physiological status anywhere and at any time. This is 2010, and they could already do most of this stuff. But let me read that again. The same could be said about the 711's call to develop technologies to anticipate, find, fix, track, identify, characterize human intent and physiological status anywhere and at any time. The ideas may sound wild. They are wild. And you know, we could say that, like, the way that this article says, these ideas may seem wild, they are wild. Like, if somebody's like asking us about gang stalking or targeting, it's like, hey, this may sound crazy. It is crazy. You know, that's why you think that this is crazy, because it is crazy, and I think that it's crazy too. Even experiencing this is crazy. This is not normal. Even many years of going through it, 8 years where I was aware of it, like 8 years ago I was aware of it, and I'm still not used to it. It's still so bizarre. Maybe it's even more bizarre the longer you go through it. Of course of course you adapt to some of these things so you don't really just lose your effing mind. And we've got to do some of those things, but you never get used to this. You never get used to torture and people looking at your brain function. Kind of, I mean, basically, like my psychiatrist was like, so you think they can read your thoughts and stuff like that? And I was like, well, they can just read the brain. But yeah, they can. They can basically read what you're thinking. And we all know that from remote neural monitoring and also reading the vibrations in your throat and your jaw. Yes, they can basically read my thoughts. It's basically people on shift work with automated equipment, and yeah, they can. They can get what I'm thinking in my inner voice and visuals. Yeah, they can. You know, they can't read the whole brain, but basically, it's people watching your thoughts. It is crazy, because you think it's crazy, and I think it's crazy because it is crazy. I'm getting off on a tangent there, but okay. The ideas may sound wild. They are wild, but the notions aren't completely out of the military-industrial mainstream. For years, armed forces and intelligence community researchers have toyed with ways of manipulating minds. During the Cold War, the CIA and the military allegedly plied the unwitting, non-consensual people who didn't know what was happening to them with dozens of psychoactive drugs and a series of they're so zany, and sometimes dangerous mind control experiments. So zany and sometimes dangerous really don't need to be put together. I mean, they're not zany when it's like really dangerous. When somebody's being dosed with psychoactive LSD and then has electroshocks to them, it's not zany. It's not zany. It's not funny, in a series of zany and sometimes dangerous mind control experiments. More recently, the Pentagon's most revered scientific advisory board warned in 2008 that adversaries could develop enhancements to their cognitive capabilities and thus create a threat to national security. The National Research Council and Defense Intelligence Agency followed suit, pushing for pharma-based tactics to weaken enemy forces. In recent months, the Pentagon has funded projects to optimize troops' minds, prevent injuries, preemptively assess vulnerability to traumatic stress, and even conduct remote control of brain activity using ultrasound. So let's see. In recent months, the Pentagon has funded projects to, and I'm going to go down to the bottom, they funded projects to remote control, to even conduct remote control of brain activity using ultrasound. And who are they doing that to? To targeted individuals, to all these people saying that it's being done to them, because they have to have people to do it to know what it's going to do to people. So I think people in society who don't think targeted individuals are telling the truth, they're missing one major thing, that if the military-industrial complex, that the Pentagon is researching on remote control of brain activity using ultrasound, who are they researching on? So when you see something that directed energy weapon this, and Lockheed Martin's working on this, and the Air Force is researching and developing neuroweapons, who are they doing it on? They have to have human beings to do it on. And I think that's a one-to-one. I don't see how anybody can go to 4 or 3. It's a one-to-one thing. Research and development of these weapons means that they have to be tested on people. And you got a whole bunch of people saying, hey, something's being tested on me. So it should be a one-to-one common sense thing. I really think that it is getting there. I think that with the way that mainstream media is set up and the way that we're kind of told what to care about, I think more people than we think know about this stuff. They just don't know what to do. They just don't know what they can do. They know it's happening. They don't know how bad it is. But we gotta take what they do know about this and say, hey, this really bad, and it's coming to everybody. So we definitely all need to be doing something, you know, calling our senators, you know, we need to do a lot more. We need to be getting these cases into court and stuff like that. Just doing whatever we can. Okay, so the Air Force is warning potential researchers that this project may require top secret clearance. They'll also need a high tolerance for seemingly loony theories sparked by the military itself. Well, why would you know, if this technology exists, a high tolerance for seemingly loony theories? Okay, so the Air Force, they're gonna research and develop a bunch of neuroweapons, right? And you got the DoD doing it through contractors, universities, and hospitals. Now they've got to get a high tolerance for seemingly loony theories. You know, all these people that they're researching and developing on, that they're torturing on, they're going to be talking about it. So you see that the way that this article is like, man, you're going to have a lot of people who like have never read this article, but because the military industrial complex is testing neuroweapons, they're just going to come out and think that they're being tested on. It's just going to happen. It's going to be like a mass hysteria. The military industrial complex testing out weapons on people, and you're going to have some people who just think that they're being, you know, they've never heard about this. They've never heard about directed energy weapons, never heard about neuroweapons, but they're going to think all kinds of wild things. So we see that disruption of reality. That just, oh man, there's going to be some people who are really they're really paranoid because the military is actually doing this. I mean, like I don't even get that. I don't see how the mainstream lie can be such a conspiracy theory that is so hard to believe, and yet, you know, people are called truthers and conspiracy theorists and tinfoil hat wearing people. So these are also articles from Wired. Let's see. Okay, so these are also articles from Wired. Top Pentagon scientists fear brain-modified foes. DARPA wants remote controls to master troops' minds. Pentagon preps soldier telepathy push. Defense spooks, let's control enemy minds. Report, non-lethal weapons could target brain, mimic schizophrenia. Wow, that's Army Yanks voice-to-skull devices site. Let's go to this one. Non-lethal weapons could target brain, mimic schizophrenia. So they have all these articles about how these weapons exist, and maybe they're being used on people, and the people, it's going to look like schizophrenia. I might read this. I might save this for another time. This looks like a good article. How long is it? Okay, I'll read this. But first, let's go to the article that Wired magazines wrote in 2018. I'm sorry, this came out in 2018 by Laura Yan. Mind Games: The Tortured Lives of Targeted Individuals. So they tell a story about a targeted individual, and then they say, to Grafstra, getting the chip implants was a no-brainer, and he loves to experiment with what they are capable of. Okay, in the beginning, when he first started hearing from people who believed they had chips implanted against their will, Grafstra wrote back to them. I was like, okay, this person is misinformed. It's a normal, intelligent person who maybe has the wrong idea. I tried really hard to engage. He suggested ways to verify if they really had an implant, like getting an X-ray at a doctor. He pointed out logical fallacies in their beliefs, including the technical impossibility of chip implants capable of tracking an individual. A GPS microchip would have the same energy demands and battery problems as a smartphone. And while researchers are experimenting with implants that might help treat neurodegenerative diseases or link prosthetic neural pathways, even the most advanced technology can't make someone hear voices or experience a different reality. But his logic appeals rarely matter. His logical appeals rarely matter. The people on the other end had already made up their minds. So you get you know, Wired magazine trying to have this bent of oh, this really smart guy who knows a lot about microchips. He says that none of this is really logical, that you can't really make somebody hear voices from a long way away. And yet, look at all the articles Look at all the articles that they've written about the technology, and the Pentagon actually, having programs that are like, let's remotely affect soldiers' minds. Who are they? This is crazy that all these articles, this is 2008. Yeah, 2008, 2010. And that's another example of, okay, you have all these magazines, they're reporting on this technology, at a certain time period. And then 8 years later, hush, 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 hush. 8 years later, nobody can talk about it now. And if you talk about it, call the people who it's happening to crazy, because we need more time. We need more time to use these weapons on people. So you see that with Wired magazine. And I hope that, I hope that lady who wrote the article in 2018, I hope she got a big bag of money, because, I mean, she can't take it to hell with her when she goes to hell, I guess that's a little bit too harsh. Maybe she didn't know about all these other articles, but it's just, I mean, there's just things that journalists can look on. I mean, because I get on Google and I look up all this stuff and I find concrete evidence. And a journalist who's looking into targeted individuals can't look up the weapons, can't look up all that, and then put into an article, okay, well, look at all this stuff we wrote in our own magazine about non-lethal weapons, about neuroweapons, about all these programs. Wow, it really makes sense. The Army's really researching and developing these weapons, and then these people are saying that they're being hit with something. There's something going on here, Okay, I guess I'll read this. This looks like a pretty good article. I guess I'll go ahead and read it, guys, and then I think I'm going to wrap it up. Oh, I wanted to read this one. I wanted to read this one too. Maybe I'll read this. I'll read this on my next video. This looks like a really good article. This is from 2008, when they were probably talking a little bit more about this, but since it's now in full swing, it was in full swing in 2008, but now it's getting closer and closer to everybody, figuring it out and us winning court cases and stuff. Now they got to really remain hush hush and just, spray on the propaganda and anything that they write. Yeah, let's go ahead and read this article, and I'll save the other article. I'm actually going to go ahead and put it in my favorites for next time. So I haven't eaten. I got a bunch of fruit and stuff. I'm kind of hungry. Okay, let's read this. I've never seen this. Maybe some of you guys have seen this article from Wired. Maybe I read it before, but I definitely don't remember. Okay, so Sharon Weinberger from February 18, 2008. And, okay, report non-lethal weapons could target the brain and mimic schizophrenia. Of all the crazy, bizarre, less lethal weapons that have been proposed, the use of microwaves to target the human mind remains the most disturbing. And yes, it is very disturbing. Can talk to all you guys in the chat, and you can tell people how disturbing it is. And myself. The question has always been, is this anything more than urban myth? We may not have the final answer to this question, but a newly declassified Pentagon report, Bioeffects of Selected Non-Lethal Weapons, obtained by a private citizen under the Freedom of Information Act, provides some fascinating tidbits on a variety of exotic weapons ideas. Among those discussed are weapons that could disrupt the brain, as well as my longtime obsession, the Voice of God device, which creates voices in people's heads, also known as microwave hearing. That's me adding that in, also known as microwave hearing. As the report notes, application of the microwave hearing technology could facilitate a private message transmission. It may be useful to provide a disruptive condition to a person not aware of the technology. Not only might it be disruptive to the sense of hearing, it could be psychologically devastating if one suddenly heard voices within one's head. Yeah, hearing a conversation 24 hours a day in your head, where it's like you're basically, it's like you're living with people. And then my attackers, it sounds like their voices are coming from like above and to the left. So they're always above me. So it's always voices above me talking about what I'm doing or having a conversation. Like the woman on my B2K now just said, what'd she say? She was like, she said, I don't want to do this anymore. This is crazy. That's the woman saying that. And the guy just says, we got to do it. They're pretty muffled. When I'm doing something, like when I'm doing external activity, I have to kind of turn and pay attention to tell exactly what they're saying. But they say the same. It's just like the same conversation over and over again, the same things. Sometimes they will interject things, you know, real time, which are different, like get out of there, or something like that. But the guy just said he's a psycho. All right, so let me go on with this article. Because the frequency of the sound heard is dependent on the pulse characteristics of the RF energy, it seems possible that this technology could be developed to the point where words could be transmitted to be heard like the spoken word, except that it could only be heard within a person's head. In one experiment, communication of the words from 1 to 10 using speech-modulated microwave energy was successfully demonstrated. From 1 to 10. Microphones next to the person experiencing the voice could not pick up the sound. Additional development of this would open up a wide range of possibilities. This technology requires no extrapolation to estimate its usefulness. Microwave energy can be applied at a distance, and the appropriate technology can be adapted from existing radar units. Aiming devices likewise are available, but for special circumstances which require extreme specificity, there may be a need for additional development. And that's also something else that they're working on, you know, putting in 5G. You know, they can hit us remotely, you know, from microwave towers, from satellites, from drones and everything. But they're trying to, you know, build up the grid even more so that they'd have more nodes, more transceivers everywhere. You know, transceivers in every building, transceivers at the front of every building, maybe, you know, transceivers in people's homes, you know, so that they can hit people, you know, and there would be no gaps. There'd be no stopgap, you know. Extreme directional specificity would be required to transmit a message to a single hostage surrounded by his captors. Signals can be transmitted long distances, hundreds of meters, using current technology. It probably even longer in 2008 than these people knew about, you know, than these people writing the article knew about. That's hundreds of meters back in 2008. To think about it, it's 2018. I mean, you know, we're looking at long distances here, miles and miles and miles, and you got microwave towers and 5G towers everywhere. So there would be no stopgap on people that they're hitting like us. And I was hit in the chest, you know, on a flight to, when I went to Green Bank, West Virginia, I was hit in the chest on an airplane. And it seemed like it was coming from above me into my chest. And you know, so that was either over the horizon radar or straight from a satellite. I think it was probably over the horizon radar that they went to, because I think that when you're in an airplane, there may be, and there actually, you know what? Some other people have said this, and this is probably what it was. There are probably antenna in microwave towers for cell phones on airplanes now, and they can tap into that. That's probably really what it was. Either over the horizon radar, or there was just a microwave, you know, something akin to a microwave tower within the airplane, you know, so people can use their cell phones and things like that. I think they had that. I think that you could use your cell. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure about that. Okay, extreme directional specificity would be required to transmit a message to a single hostage surrounded by his captors. Signals can be transmitted long distances, hundreds of meters, using current technology. Longer distances and more sophisticated signal types will require more bulky equipment. but it seems possible to transmit some of the signals at closer ranges using man-portable equipment. If voices in your head aren't disturbing enough, the report also goes on to theorize about a microwave weapon that could use electromagnetic pulses to disrupt the brain's functioning. It would work through a rhythmic activity synchronization of brain neurons that disrupts normal cortical control of the corticospinal and corticobulbar pathways that disrupts normal functioning of the spinal motor neurons, which control muscle and body movements. This concept is still very theoretical, the report notes. No, it's not very theoretical. They have these weapons and they're using them on people and researching, developing them and advancing them. So they're not theoretical at all. They've been used for a long time. But this article has to say it's still really theoretical. And let's cover our bases here so people don't think it's actually in use, because it is. Application of electromagnetic pulses is also a conceptual non-lethal technology that uses, they need to stop using non-lethal. You can tell anything, with this kind of weaponry and how they're using it on so many people. Obviously, they had to come up with the most PC non-lethal. It's non-lethal. It's not gonna permanently screw up anybody's body. And you can ask any targeted individual who's been, tortured by this stuff for more than a year or more than a week. Ask them if this is non-lethal. Ask me if this is non-lethal. No, this is very lethal. It screwed up my nervous system and my brain. It screwed up my muscles. This is so lethal. It's mutilating technology. They should call it, instead of non-lethal technology, they should call it body mutilation technology. That's what I'm going to call it. Okay, so application of electromagnetic pulses is also a conceptual non-lethal technology that uses electromagnetic energy to induce neural synchrony and disruption of voluntary muscle control. The effectiveness of this concept has not been demonstrated. However, from past work in evaluating the potential for electromagnetic pulse generator to affect humans, it is estimated that sufficiently strong internal fields can be generated within the brain to trigger neurons. So that, they can shoot one frequency and then another frequency coming from another direction, which is, what's that called? Somebody in chat will probably know this, but like two beams hitting and creating a field out of those two beams right in the middle of your head, so that it can like trigger neuronal changes in the brain. Oh God, it's something simple that I've heard over and over. I can't think of it right now. It's just when you put two things together, you put two things together to make one thing. I can't think of it. Okay, I'll move on. Sadly, there's little context for the report. And my brain's trying to figure out what that is. Okay, sadly, there's little context for the report, which is dated 1998, and no specific references to current programs or research, if any, about such weapons. But there are programs, and there is research going on. And there was in 2008. There was tons of research. Let's see how long this article is. From Air Force Medical Service. I don't know, I'm pretty tired. I gotta eat. Okay, I'll go through this. Let's go ahead and read this, because this is a good article. I haven't read through the whole thing, but I think it's going to be a good article. Air Force Medical Service, Directed Energy Weapons Research, A New Frontier for Air Force Medicine by Peter Holstein, Air Force Surgeon General Public Affairs, published November 8, 2017. So directed energy weapons are an emerging technology that U.S. forces will see on tomorrow's battlefield. Right now, we're seeing them in domestic situations, domestic terrorism situations, but maybe they'll be on the battlefield tomorrow. And they're already used in the battlefield too. So I mean, that's a lie that they're not ready for battlefield use. They use them they use prototypes and things like that in wars. And you know, we've seen in Afghanistan and Iraq bodies just burnt to a crisp because they're using directed energy weapons that just at a certain level that just roast the body, you know. Air Force medical researchers are working now to better understand the medical effects of these weapons so that we are ready to treat injuries from directed energy weapons in future wars. Maybe we need to contact Air Force, you know, this Air Force surgeon, say, hey, have y'all figured out how to repair damage from directed energy weapons? Because like all of these innocent citizens are getting cooked with them, so it'd be nice. Falls Church, Virginia. On the battlefield of tomorrow, bullets and bombs will not be the only threat to U.S. military personnel. The rise of directed energy weapons is creating a need to understand the medical effects of these weapons, and Air Force medical researchers are studying these questions. Evolving threats in a dangerous world drive the direction of military health research. Directed energy weapons are one of the newest forms of weapon, just making their way from research and development onto the battlefield. Oh, and how they research and develop them? How are they researching and developing them? Ask that question. So they're making their way from research and development onto the battlefield. How they do the research and development, you know? And how are they still doing the research and development? Right now, we don't see many directed energy weapons in current conflict, said Lieutenant Colonel Richard Yu, chief of the Counter-Directed Energy Weapons Branch in the Air Force Medical Support Agency. Counter-Directed Energy Weapons Branch in the Air Force Medical Support Agency. We're in the early stages of learning about the long and short-term medical effects these weapons have on people, both in terms of collateral damage and users. Directed energy weapons send highly focused energy, commonly electromagnetic energy, towards a target to disable or injure it. Well-known types include lasers and radio frequency emitters. Some, like lasers, affect a target's vision. Others use high-power microwaves to cause a feeling of intense heat without burning the target. The U.S. military, private industry, and foreign governments are all developing these weapons, some for non-lethal anti-personnel uses and others to disable electronics. So let's read that again. Some more concrete evidence from Air Force Medical Journal. The U.S. military, private industry, and foreign governments are all developing these weapons, some for non-lethal anti-personnel uses and others to disable electronics. How would they develop these weapons? Of course, they manufacture prototypes, right? Manufacture prototypes, then what do? How do they develop better weapons? How do they advance the weaponry and know how they're working on human beings and what they're doing to human beings and what they can do to human beings? Well, they use them on human beings. What are targeted individuals saying? Something's being used on us. Microwaves, it's messing with our brains and our nervous systems. It's hurting our bodies. It's torture. They're doing it 24 hours a day to us. Seems pretty weird. Got to make those connections, you know, people who are not targeted individuals, because we've made the connections. We've had to make the connection. We have to look at all this crap. We have to look at all this information. We can try and get not regular people, but people who are not going through this to believe us and you know, stop it. Stop the genocide, the worldwide genocide and research on human beings. Non-consensual research. This assortment of technology creates a wide range of potential impacts on people, which researchers are just starting to understand. The most likely injuries are to the eyes and skin, said you. We continue to identify gaps in our knowledge and our treatment and making plans to fill those gaps with new research. We want to be prepared to diagnose and treat injuries from directed energy weapons before we see them on the battlefield. Since directed energy weapons are an emerging force on the battlefield, cooperation between medical researchers and the line researchers developing new directed energy weapons is important. Collaboration between the Air Force Research Lab and medical researchers has contributed to research progress on both sides, and you expects it will continue to bear fruit. The majority of directed energy weapons bioeffects research is from the Air Force Research Laboratory, said you. The counter-directed energy weapons branch connects the medical side of this research. We are leveraging this research to help fill in the gaps in our medical knowledge to develop possible medical countermeasures. It'd be nice if they would give those to us or stop murdering us. I think stop murdering us would be better. Medical researchers bring different training and perspective than line researchers who focus on the effectiveness of the weapon and the health and safety of the operator. Asking different research questions pays dividends in learning how to prevent and treat directed energy injuries. When line researchers zap a tissue, they record the physiological and behavioral effects to develop safety standards and predict injuries from collateral damage, said you. I can't stop doing it, guys. So, a medical researcher might look at the same test and learn more, like the medical implications, to help identify the right treatment protocols. We don't totally understand how these weapons affect people now, but through this collaboration, we look forward to making important progress. Prevention and eye protection is another critical area of research. Just like with a pair of normal sunglasses, eye protection devices only block certain wavelengths of light. For pilots, it is critical to make sure that this eye protection blocks the correct type of wavelength and that it does not impede their ability to read their electronic cockpit displays. Directed energy weapons are definitely part of the future of warfighting, said you. We should not sit back and wait for the first injury to occur and react to it. When we do fight that future war, and this is in the present time that this stuff is going on, and they always say future war is in the future. We need to have the correct threat prevention and tools to protect our warfighters. Why don't you protect citizens from being attacked by this stuff? Why don't you say, hey, citizens are being researched on, and we're going to work on some stuff to protect them, like stopping it, like stopping the program. And while we try and stop it, we're going to give them some kind of, defenses to help them. Be great. Be great. Okay. All right, guys. So I just wanted to read those articles, and I kind of read two more than I thought I was going to be reading. I kind of wanted to make this short, but some good information. And where's my chat room open? Can't find it. I think I X'd it out. Let's see. How do I do that? Let's go back. All right, guys. So yeah, I just wanted to read those articles, just showing like how Wired magazine has all these articles, about the technology, saying that the Pentagon's working on it, saying that the Air Force is working on it, on all these different technologies. And then they write an article about people who are saying that they're being researched on, and basically slant it to where these people are paranoid and stuff like that. So it's not balanced, and it's on purpose. It's not an accident where they just didn't remember these other articles they wrote. It's on purpose, and they cannot write, these people may be telling the truth. They have to slant those articles right now. There are some people, there are some good magazines, and Romola D is an awesome journalist, telling the truth. I think they're actually, there's a lot of independent journalists telling the truth. I don't know how many mainstream people are telling the truth, but that's what we're looking to fix. So that's about it, guys. Hey, Diana. Hey, no taxation without representation. Hey, Julie Anderson. Hello, Mind Control Christian. Hey, Lily Grace. Hey, guys. Yeah, I'm grateful to Romola D. I'm grateful to Dr. Horton getting information. I'm grateful to Ella. I'm grateful to, Richard Lighthouse. Trying to think of as many people as I can. I mean, there's so many people, getting truth out. Hey, thanks for coming, Badger Report. Yeah, anytime you want to come in, and if you, yes, some leak. Okay, well, Badger Report, like, just when you're watching the video, just freeze it, just pause it, and then you'll see the links up at the top of the screen. Is that too hard for you guys? Like, is it too small? Like, are the links too small where you can't see them? Because I will start doing that. I'll start getting the most important links of the articles that I'm going through, and I'll put them in the descriptions. But like, I thought what y'all could do is just, when you're watching the videos, just pause it and get the, just get the link at the top. Hey, Native Neuropterus. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm gonna get some food. I'm gonna get some food and maybe play some video games and just kind of chill out. I don't want to say I'm doing okay right now. I'm doing okay right now, taking a lot of kratom, taking a lot of CBD oil, doing okay right now. It's because I'm staying consistent with listening to Dave Case's CD at night, getting into my Faraday bunker, keeping the grounding on. I think that if I really do the cleansing with Epsom salt, switch it out, Epsom salt, and then switch it out with borax and palm olive, the orange kind, because that's L-lactate acid. And then I start working out, I think I can feel even better, But I hope you guys are using some things. So Autumn says, Kyle, Chapuis's on to talk to Dr. Giordano about our, okay, on the January 25th. Okay, I'm gonna look at that. Let me go to it now while you guys are still here. January 25th. What do you remember what video, Autumn? What did he say? Okay, well, so she'll put what he said. Let me look it up and see what he said, and I'll share my screen. Let's see. Oh, that's great. I thought about getting into contact with him, but it's my doubtful mind where I'm like, man, I'm gonna call this guy and he's not gonna help us. He's gonna say he doesn't know anything about it. I've got to be a little bit more bold there, calling people and talking with them, and maybe even, getting them to come talk on my channel. I don't have a huge, like Dr. Horton's bigger than me, and she does some good interviews, but I could say, hey, I have a small channel that talks to target individuals. Could you come on? So January 25th, was it the video 6 days ago? Okay, I might have to look through my videos to find it. Okay, so it's the one, it's actually that video. The one that I was showing him talking at West Point. Let's see. Oh, I got a comment from Linda. I need to call her. I haven't talked to her in so long. Linda Costanzo. Some of you guys who go to the conference calls may know her. She's so awesome. She's like my TI older sister or mom. I have not called her, talked to her, and so on. She gets targeted very hard. She left a comment saying, thank you for all you're doing, Kyle. I finally figured out how to comment here. If you're watching this, Linda, I love you. Love you. Miss you. I'm going to call you soon. Okay, here it is. So this is, let me share the screen. Let me share the screen, guys, and I'll show you all this comment by Chapuis Zanta, who is awesome. There it is. Okay, so here it is right here. I called Chapuis Zanta. I called Dr. James Giordano's office and asked why he was involved in our abuse, that he must either help us or suffer the consequences of potentially going to prison. He called the cops. The cops came to my house and told me to never call him again. The whole experience was boring, and I'm tired of being ganged up on all day by a bunch of crazy people in corny-ass Ohio, Maryland, Kettering, Ohio. Oh, my God. He called the cops on her? He called the cops. Okay, I'm going to call. I mean, if he's calling the cops on people. Okay, let's see the comments. Autumn says, it was worth it. It was worth your effort. Now we know his answer towards this crime. Yeah, thank you so much. Great job. Anthony Orion says, ask them next time if you can check under their eyes with the black light. I don't understand that. All right, guys. Well, that's not the news that I want to hear. I'm gonna go ahead and call. I'm gonna try and get with if somebody can tell Chapui Zonta if you talk to him or chat with him, tell her to get in touch with me or him. I'm not sure if it's a him or her. So she can maybe give me his number. You know, I want to call and see. I'm gonna try and play it diplomatically. You know. Because I think she kind of came out swinging a little bit, which is good. But I think maybe if I just like, I don't know, try and talk to him and try and like be like, hey, we know you're in the experimentation, non-consensual human experimentation, and maybe like act like I don't know, you know, I don't know. I'll try something, but that's bad news. Because he says that he wants ethics in this. He said, you know, he could just be a liar. That's sad. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, John Marie Bizot, Dr. Horton will come on your show, Kyle. Yeah, she had an interview. She did an interview with Michael Barden, and that was pretty good. I don't know. I kind of just like, you know, I don't want to get into too many interviews and stuff like that. I'd really just like to put information out. It's just, I don't have a lot of energy, and, you know, I just, you know, I'm comfortable with what I'm doing right now, but I guess I just need to, I mean, I can talk, you know, I can talk about stuff, and maybe I will, maybe I'll try and get in contact with Dr. Horton. Cause like you know, she talks about, like I saw these videos where she was going around because she has pain in her body, like she has pain in her knee, and she has pain, you know, in certain part, like on her head right there. And I really want to, and she may know this by now, but you know, that to me, that's remote neural manipulation. Even if you have an implant like in your jaw, it'll hurt around the area, but the implant sends signals. It's like they put implants by bundles of nerves that then send a signal to your brain. Then your brain sends the pain signal to another area of your body. So I really, because she brings information to so many people, and I really wanted to, you know, solidify that information with her. How a lot of this is remote neural manipulation. They're getting in resonance with your brain, and they're sending signals to your brain that send pain signals to your body. So there was a time, and she may think differently now, so I'm not sure, but there was a time when she was like, okay, if I have pain in my body, that's where they put an implant. But that's not the logical conclusion of what I've experienced and what I've researched and kind of what I know about this, you know? Yeah. Keep track. Okay. All right, guys. So, yeah, so Diana's saying, I wonder if we could all send letters to his office. Let's guilt him. He should feel really guilty about being involved in this. Okay, and Diana, you said when are Ella's conference calls? Ella's conference calls are Tuesday and Thursday night. It's 8 Central Time. And then she has a radio show, like a radio interview, I think Thursday or Friday. But I don't, like, okay, if you go to free conference call, you put in TI Angel 2016. TI Angel 2016 to get in free conference call on the computer, but I don't have the numbers. So if somebody wants to put the numbers to Ella's conference call in the chat room, I think Diana needs those. And the chat keeps going for a little while even after I end the the live stream. All right, guys, and I'll make a better effort of putting the links in my in the description of the video. But if you guys can, just try and freeze the video and get the links on the top. I know that sometimes it's a longer link, so it's hard, but see if you can do that. See if it's convenient enough. All right, guys, I love y'all. Love y'all. I hope y'all are using some stuff to get some relief. I hope you're just surviving, and don't give up. Yeah, John Marie saying, yeah, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I'm kind of just, I'm liking this, doing the live streams and just getting solid information out. And I think a lot of targeted individuals are doing a lot of interviews and they're covering all that. I feel like right now, and this could change. I'm gonna maybe try and do some more videos that are well edited, because I think those will get more eyes on it. Like, it'll get more non-TIs interested if I can make some well edited videos. So that's the next challenge. It's going to be a challenge because I'm ADD is hell, and it's just easier for me to get on and talk. And I feel like sometimes I get angry because the information is so important. The information is so important, and you guys know that it's important. But just somebody talking, even if their information is so important for people to know, somebody who's talking about something ridiculous but makes a well-edited video or something entertaining, they're going to get more views on that information that's just, who cares about that, So, but I kind of just like this now. I feel like I'm kind of filling a role in the TI community. Like, I'm putting out articles, kind of stockpiling this information out, so that everybody can grab it. Everybody doing whatever they're doing can get a hold of it, and we'll all have a lot of concrete information, valuable resources. All right, guys. Good night. God bless you all. I love y'all. And I think the next video, I've already kind of thought of something that I really wanted to do. It seems like a lot of people, that gang stalking video I made got tons of views, and I think there's a lot of people who maybe aren't understanding the weapons, but they're getting gang stalked. So my next video, I might go to Eric Carlstrom's website and get all the concrete stuff about gang stalking, everybody who's written about it, and maybe keep connecting it with the directed energy weapon torture. Love you too, Future Knowledge, man. I hope you're doing good, bro. I hope try. I know that it's hard, like, because it's a lot of torture, but try and like get outside and take a walk. Just get out of your place, Try and like, at least if you can't, like, if you don't have enough energy to go outside, at least maybe like clean your, do something in your place to make, to feel more productive. It'll kind of get you going. But I love you guys. Just do what you got to do to get through this, y'all. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I think I'm going to go through Dr. Carlstrom's website and get some pretty important information on there. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for coming, everybody in chat, and just keep fighting. Stay as strong as you can. We just don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, and it could be very good. Could be like, it could be good. It could be like my gang stalker's stalking me. But we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And miracles do happen, but we got to work. I just feel like we have to work for the miracles. We have to work and help each other, and things that God puts in our path. We've got to really, really work hard as we can. And sometimes working hard, it means just surviving. It means not losing your mind and trying to find something fun to do, because this is such torture, But sometimes working hard means, hey, I feel good today. I can maybe get on Facebook, upload an article or something like that. Get on Twitter, upload an article. I can make a video or something like that. So all right, I love y'all. I'm gonna go eat some apples. I got some fresh apples, and eat healthy. I'm telling myself that because I eat very unhealthy. All right, guys, love y'all. I'll see you on the next one.